Alrighty folks, welcome back to the channel, and today on the lathe we have a piece of ash. This was rescued from the firewood trailer. I got Ruben to pick a piece of wood and we're going to make a dainty goblet from it. Somebody in the comments, I believe it was SilverLady, was saying can I make something dainty and delicate? Well, this is about as dainty and delicate as I get at this moment in time anyway, so that's what we're going to do. A nice ash goblet. Now this is inspired by the spinning top from the other day. I thought I'd have a go at making that shape that we saw, but on purpose this time.
Alrighty.
Okay, so I've got the 35mm Forstner bit in the drill attachment to my tailstock, and I've just put the piece of wood in the chuck now, so it's a little bit out of balance, but it won't be for long. Have a look and tell me, what have we done?
Spinny banana chicken.
Yes, when there's cameras on, you know how it is. So, that's the hole drilled. That's going to be the inside of our goblet, the top. So the shape I'm going for is almost like a sherry glass type shape. I don't need all of that wood. In hindsight, I probably should have chopped a lump off. It would have helped with the how far away from the chuck I am. But I didn't know whether I was going to do a really long fluted goblet or a short stubby one at this point. You can hear a bit of resonance there. That's just because of the length of the piece. So this is another episode of spindle turning with a bowl gouge. Not ideal. Give it the old finger check there, and it's full finger depth, that one. Now this wood is very dry. I think it's been cut at least 3 years. Yeah. So it was very grabby, turning end grain. Not very pleasant, and there's some hollowing coming up in a minute that I recommend that you don't try. I was basically using the shear scraping method to get down into the bottom of that hole, which seemed to work for me, but I can't guarantee it would work for anybody else. It's not recommended hollowing technique, that one, but it seemed to work, so I carried on doing it. Didn't leave a very nice finish, but nothing that the 40 grit sandpaper couldn't cope with. Really, it was so grabby I couldn't get down in there any other way, so that's what we did. Yeah, plenty of tear out going on in there. So in goes the 40 grit and all the way up to 800 grit, sanding paste and shine juice. Okay, so we've come to the point of the show where we get to have a look at some of your fantastic work. And this is a piece of oak. It's 10 inches wide, 3 inches deep, and it's an off-center turning that's been sent in by Peter Delacoe, a regular commenter and featured a lot on the show. And it's a lovely piece of work. So thanks very much for sending that in, Peter. And if you'd like your work to be featured on the show, you can send your images or videos to willmakeseverything@gmail.com. Okay, so I'm happy with the inside shape, and now I'm going to make it thin from the outside. And my thoughts behind this process are do a little bit at a time, check thickness, and then finish that section so that I don't have to do any sanding or finishing when I put the neck of the goblet on here because I'll be bending it and moving it too much. They were my thoughts behind it. And there we go, that's that bit sanded up and finished off with the sanding paste and shine juice. That's just to the depth of the bottom of that cup. So you can hear from the vibration, I'm just a little bit too far away from the chuck. Really should have chopped about 4 inches off that blank. If you're interested, the walls of that, the top part of the goblet are about 1/16 of an inch thick. I didn't fancy taking them any smaller. So you can see I've switched back to my old bowl gouge, standard grind, 40 degrees. Didn't make as much difference to the grabbiness as I was hoping. It was just a little bit more controllable than that massive 34-inch 40/40 grind bowl gouge. So at this point I was thinking, right, am I happy with the height? Am I happy with the total length of the goblet? And the answer I came up with was nope. I think I can make it a little bit longer. So I had to isolate another section. And I was going to put a, what do you call them things? A little knobby bit. I don't know what they're called. A little knobby bit in the middle of the stem. And I tried a couple of different designs of little knobby bits, none of which I liked. Eventually I settled on that one that you can see now, right down near the base. So it's a bit too squat still. So I probably took another ½ inch off the block. And then I put a nice little radius on the base. You can see we lost one of the little knobby bits there. I turned it away, I didn't like it. And that stem was still a bit too chunky. You can see it was starting to warp on me. Even though this wood is super dry, it was still moving on me. So this is the final cut on the stem. And there we go, that's final shape. So sanding all the way up from 120 grit all the way to 800 grit. On with the sanding paste. And then with the shine juice. And you can see we picked up a little bit of a line in the top of the goblet that I couldn't see before, but never mind, it all adds character. At least that's what I'm going to say about that one. And there it is, all shined up. That's about as dainty as I get. So I will leave you as ever with the glamour shots, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you wouldn't mind hitting the old subscribe button and leaving me a comment on the video, that would be really appreciated. Thanks very much. Now, YouTube has accepted me into the partner program, which means you may be seeing some adverts coming up in these videos, but I'm going to try and place them one at the start and one at the end. Hopefully nothing too crazy, so I hope you all don't mind that. It's just it helps me to take the channel forward and maybe get it paid. Who knows, you know? I should be so lucky, eh? So once again, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Cheers, folks.